Good morning. We're back with Numbers chapter 32. The tribes east of Jordan. Now the tribes of Reuben and Gad owned vast numbers of livestock. So when they saw that the lands of Jazer and Gilead were ideally suited for their flocks and herds, they came to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the other leaders of the people. They said, Torath, Dibion, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Eli, Sebam, Lebo, and beyond, the Lord has conquered the whole area for the people of Israel. It is ideally suited for all our flocks and herds. If we have found favor with you, please let us have this land as our property instead of giving us land across the Jordan River. Do you mean you want to stay back here while your brothers go across and do all the fighting? Moses asked the Reubenites and Gadites. Are you trying to discourage the rest of the people of Israel from going across to the land the Lord has given them? This is what your ancestors did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. After they went up to the valley of Escol and scouted the land, they discouraged the people of Israel from entering the land the Lord was giving them. Then the Lord was furious with them, and he vowed, all of those I rescued from Egypt, no one who is 20 years or older will ever see the land I solemnly promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for they have not obeyed me completely. The only exceptions are Caleb, son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua, son of Nun, for they have wholeheartedly followed the Lord. The Lord was furious with Israel and made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until the whole generation that sinned against him had died. But here you are, a brood of sinners, doing exactly the same thing. You are making the Lord even angrier with Israel. If you turn away from him like this and he abandons them again in the wilderness, you will be responsible for destroying the entire nation. But they responded to Moses, we simply want to build sheepfolds for our flocks and fortified cities for our wives and children. Then we will arm ourselves and lead our fellow Israelites into battle until we brought them safely to their inheritance. Meanwhile, our families will stay in the fortified cities we build here, so they will be safe from any attacks by the local people. We will not return to our homes until all the people of Israel have received their inheritance of land. But we do not want any of the land on the other side of the Jordan. We would rather live here on the east side where we have received our inheritance. Then Moses said, if you keep your word and arm yourselves for the Lord's battles, and if your troops cross the Jordan until the Lord has driven out his enemies, then you will return when the land is fully subdued before the Lord. You will have discharged your duty to the Lord and to the rest of the people of Israel, and the land on the east side of the Jordan will be your inheritance from the Lord. But if you fail to keep your word, then you will have sinned against the Lord, and you may be sure that your sin will find you out. Go ahead and build towns for your families, sheepfolds, and your flocks, but do everything you have said. And then the people of Gad and Reuben replied, we are your servants and will follow your instructions exactly. Our children, wives, flocks, and cattle will stay here in the towns of Gilead, but since all who are able to bear arms will cross over to fight for the Lord, just as you have said. So Moses gave orders to Eleazar, Joshua, and the tribal leaders of Israel. He said, if all the men of Gad and Reuben who are able to fight for the Lord's battle across the Jordan with you, then the land is conquered. You must give the land of Gilead as their property. But if they refuse to cross over and march ahead of you, then they must accept land with the rest of you in the land of Canaan. The tribes of Gad and Reuben said again, sir, we will do as the Lord has commanded. We will cross the Jordan into Canaan, fully armed to fight for the Lord, but our inheritance of land will be here on this side of the Jordan. So Moses assigned to the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the territory of King Sihon of the Amorites, and the land of King Og of Bashan, the whole land with its towns and surrounding lands. The people of Gad built the towns of Dibon, Atoroth, Arar, Othroth, Sephan, Jazer, Jogma, Beth-Limrah, and Bethran. Sorry if I totally butchered those names. These were all fortified cities with sheepfolds for their flocks. The people of Reuben built the towns of Heshbon, Elilah, Kiratham, Lebo, Baalmenon, and Sibah. They changed the names of some of the towns they conquered and rebuilt. Then the descendants of Machir of the tribe of Manasseh went to Gilead and conquered it, and they drove out the Amorites who were living there. So Moses gave Gilead to the Machirites, descendants of Manasseh, and they lived there. The people of Jar, another clan of the tribe of Manasseh, captured many of the towns of Gilead and changed the name of the region to the towns of Jar. Meanwhile, a man named Loba captured the town of Kenath and its surrounding villages, and he remained that area Loba after himself. Chapter 33, Remembering Israel's Journey. This is the itinerary the Israelites followed as they marched out of Egypt under the leadership of Moses and Aaron. At the Lord's direction, Moses kept a written record of their progress. There are the stages of their march, identified by the different places they stopped along the way. They set out from the city of Ramses on the morning after the first Passover celebration in early spring. The people of Israel left defiantly in full view of all the Egyptians. Meanwhile, the Egyptians were burying all their firstborn sons, whom the Lord had killed the night before. The Lord had defeated the gods of Egypt that night with great acts of judgment. After leaving Ramses, the Israelites set up camp at Succoth. Then they left Succoth and camped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. They left Etham and turned back toward Pi-Hipperoth, opposite Baal Zaphon, and camped near Migdal. Then they left Pi-Hitheroth and crossed the Red Sea into the wilderness beyond. Then they traveled for 3 days into the Ithron wilderness and camped at Marah. They left Marah and camped at Elim, where there are 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. They left Elam and camped beside the Red Sea. They left the Red Sea and camped in the Sin Desert. They left the Sin Desert and camped at Dophkah. They left Dophkah and camped at Alush. They left Alush and camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They left Rephidim and camped into the wilderness of Sinai. They left the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hattaavah. They left Kibroth Hattaavah and camped at Hazeroth. They left Hazeroth and camped at Rithmah. They left Rithmah and camped at Rim Perez. They left Rim Perez and camped at Limnah. They left Limnah and camped at Rizah. They left Rizah and camped at Keathala. They left Keathala and camped at Mount Zephar. They left Mount Zephar and camped at Huradah. They left Huradah and camped at Makhath. They left Makhath and camped at Tihath. They left Tihath and camped at Terah. They left Terah and camped at Mithkah. They left Mithkah and camped at Hashemah. They left Hashemah and camped at Mazeroth. They left Mazeroth and camped at Benachakon. They left Benachakon and camped at Hor Haggad. They left Hor Haggad and camped at Jotbatha. They left Jotbatha and camped at Haberana. Sorry again for messing up these names horribly. They left Haberana and camped at Ezon Gibber. They left Ezon Gibber and camped at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. They left Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor at the border of Edom. While they were at the foot of Mount Hor, Aaron the priest was directed by the Lord to give up the mountain, and there he died. This happened on a day in midsummer during the 40th year of Israel's departure. Aaron was 123 years old when he died there on Mount Har. It was then that the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in Negev in the land of Canaan, heard that the people of Israel were approaching his land. Meanwhile, the Israelites left Mount Har and camped at Zalamana. They then left Zalamana and camped at Punon. They left Punon and camped at Oboth. They left Oboth and camped at Iabarim on the border of Moab. They left Iabarim and camped at Dibon-Gad. They left Dibon and camped at Almon-Diblathim. They left Almon-Diblathim and camped in the mountains east of the river near Mount Nebo. They left the mountains east of the river and camped at the plains of Moab beside the Jordan River across from Jericho. Along the Jordan River they camped from Beth Zeshemoth as far as Abel Shittim on the plains of Moab. And with that, I'll be back later with the rest.